Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah, welcome back.
You guys always bring us the most interesting stuff, and this time is no exception.
Right.
We've got a whole stack of resources all about how to become a more confident English speaker.
Yeah, a bunch of good stuff on this one.
But we want to go deeper than just those surface level tips.
Absolutely.
We really want to dig into some strategies that can actually make a difference.
Yeah, and I think we've got some really actionable stuff to get to today.
Yeah, I think so too. So let's dive in.
Okay, that's good.
So at the core of what we're talking about today is this YouTube video. It's
Right.
called Become a Confident English Speaker, Pipe Practical Strategies.
Okay,
And it's from this channel called Speak Confident English.
cool.
And the insights that we're going to be talking about come from Annemarie.
Okay,
She's the one behind the channel.
right.
And she's got over 25 years of experience coaching people in English fluency and confidence.
Wow, that's a lot of experience.
Yeah, it is. And you know what really grabbed my attention right from the start?
Okay, what's that?
Is that Annemarie is a native English speaker.
Okay,
And she's this really experienced teacher,
right.
but she openly shares that clarity, fluency, and confidence weren't just things that she was born with, you
Yeah,
know? Like
uh-oh.
they weren't just handed to her.
Yeah,
She actually faced those challenges herself.
interesting.
Not only when she was learning another language,
Uh,
but even in English sometimes.
wow.
And I don't know about you, but that really struck me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes you realize that if someone like her with all that background has had to navigate these waters,
Right.
then it's definitely possible for anyone you know.
Exactly. You're not alone in those struggles.
Right, and it's encouraging.
For sure.
So that's actually the mission we're on today.
Okay, I like it.
We're going to be looking at 5 common myths about English fluency and confidence that Annemarie really tackles head on in this video.
Yeah, let's get to the bottom of these myths.
Yeah, and our goal isn't just to, bust these myths,
Right.
but to replace them with a clearer understanding
Yeah.
and some practical steps that we
Yeah.
can actually use,
Actionable advice.
yeah, to build real confidence. Because here's the thing,
Okay.
believing these myths
Yeah.
can actually hold you back.
Oh, for sure. They're like invisible anchors.
They really are.
Yeah.
So let's hear what those myths are.
Okay, lay them on me.
Let's unpack these myths that she highlights, because these are the ideas that people kind of bump into, on their way to confident speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So number 1,
Oh.
some people are just naturally confident speakers.
Right, right.
Okay, number 2,
Oh,
if you're fluent, you must speak fast.
well, that's a good one.
Number 3, confident speakers never need to ask for clarification.
Interesting.
Number 4, confident speakers don't experience setbacks or make mistakes.
Mm.
And finally, number 5, you're either born with confidence or you're not.
Okay, so a pretty comprehensive list there.
It is, yeah.
So where do we start?
Well, let's just dive straight into that first one.
Okay,
That some people are naturally confident speakers.
right. The natural confidence myth.
Yeah, so what do you think about that one?
Well, I think it's interesting, how often we connect confident speaking with certain personality types.
Right.
Like extroverts, for example.
Yeah, totally.
Because, they're often seen as more outgoing and energetic.
Uh-huh.
They enjoy kind of jumping into conversations.
Right.
So there's this kind of automatic assumption that they just have natural confidence when they speak.
Yeah, it's just part of who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that can make it seem like if
Right.
you're more introverted,
Right.
or maybe you're just quieter or more reserved by nature,
Uh-huh.
then confident speaking is somehow like this exclusive club that you can't join.
Yeah, like it's just not for you.
Right, exactly. But Annemarie has this really insightful point here.
No.
It's not so much about being outgoing versus reserved.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about how you process and express your thoughts.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
Introverts often feel more comfortable when they have time to think things through
Right.
and kind of organize their thoughts internally before they speak.
Yeah, they want to have it all sorted out in their head first.
Exactly. Whereas extroverts tend to be more comfortable with kind of thinking as they speak.
Yeah, they think out loud.
Right. And the key takeaway here
Okay.
is that being an introvert is absolutely not a barrier to confident speaking.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's not a roadblock at all.
Uh-huh.
And Annemarie is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, how so?
Well, she's a shy introvert herself,
Oh, wow. Okay.
but she's obviously a very confident and fluent speaker.
Right.
And she's helped so many students with similar tendencies
Uh-huh.
to, speak clearly, fluently, and confidently.
That's great.
Yeah, so it really comes down to this confidence in speaking is not so much a personality trait. It's more of a skill.
Yeah, it's something you can develop.
Exactly, and you can cultivate it through practice.
Practice, practice, practice.
Exactly, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert.
Makes sense.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what does this mean for you, the listener,
Yeah.
if you identify as an introvert?
Okay.
Or even if you just find that anxiety in English-speaking situations
Right.
makes you kind of retreat into yourself a bit,
Uh-huh.
you can actually use your natural tendency to think before you speak to your advantage.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like Annemarie's advice is all about harnessing that strength.
Okay. So how do you do that?
Well, she suggests consciously taking time to prepare your thoughts.
Okay.
So, for example, if you know what a meeting or discussion is going to be about,
Uh-huh.
maybe you could jot down some key points.
Right.
Or even practice saying a few sentences out loud beforehand.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it can really make a difference.
Makes sense.
Just having that little bit of rehearsal can help you feel more familiar with the material.
Right.
And it can actually ease anxiety, too.
For sure.
And even in conversations that are more spontaneous,
Yeah.
it's totally okay to embrace those little pauses,
Uh-huh.
just to kind of organize your next thought.
Right. Give yourself a second to think.
Exactly. You don't have to have every single detail planned out.
Yeah.
Just focus on that immediate idea you want to express.
Keep it simple.
Right. And your tendency to think before speaking can actually be a superpower.
Not a weakness.
Exactly.
I like that.
Not a hindrance at all.
Yeah.
Now, I know some of you might be thinking,
Okay.
but won't those pauses make me sound hesitant?
Right. Or unsure.
Yeah, or like I lack confidence.
Yeah, that's a common worry.
It is, but Annemarie has a really clever tactic for that.
Okay, tell me.
She suggests using what she calls buy-time phrases.
Buy time phrases.
Yeah, like these little linguistic bridges
Oh, interesting.
that give you a moment to think without sounding uncertain.
Okay, give me some examples.
Sure, so you could say something like,
Okay.
just give me a moment to think about that.
Oh, good.
Or, that's a really interesting question. Can you come back to me on that in a moment?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, just those little phrases
Mm-hmm.
can take the pressure off
Right.
and give you those few seconds you need
Yeah.
to gather your thought.
Without that awkward silence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win.
It is.
Now, we don't always have the luxury of, preparing in detail,
Right.
but the very act of practicing regularly,
Oh,
even
no.
just practicing how you might prepare for different situations,
Oh, that's interesting.
it actually helps you to become more spontaneous.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like you're training your brain to organize information on the fly.
Like mental gymnastics.
Exactly. And if you want to explore that in more depth,
Okay.
Annemarie does have some more resources on that.
All right. I'll have to check those out.
So shall we move on to myth number 2?
Yeah, let's do it. What is it?
So this one is that fast English equals fluent English.
Oh, yeah, this is a big one, I think.
It is a big one, and it's easy to see why people think that.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, when you're watching English language TV shows or movies,
Right.
often the dialogue is really fast-paced,
Uh-huh.
and it sounds impressive,
Yeah, it can sound really slick.
Yeah, like you think, wow, they're so fluent.
Yeah.
But as Annemarie points out, speaking really quickly doesn't necessarily mean you're a good communicator.
Right.
In fact, it can often have the opposite effect. Like,
Right.
even native English speakers might have trouble understanding you.
Right, if you speak in a mile a minute.
Yeah, if you're just going too fast.
Yeah.
And to really get this point across,
Okay.
Annemarie actually does a little demonstration in the video.
Oh, cool. What does she do?
She speaks at a super fast pace,
Okay.
and then she asks the listener,
Yeah.
did that sound clear,
Uh,
confident,
and fluent.
and fluent, even though it was fast?
Right. Good point.
And I think the answer is probably no.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So true fluency,
Okay.
as Annemarie defines it,
Mhm.
is about clear communication,
Right.
where the speaker feels in control.
Yeah, being in control is key.
It is.
Not just rushing through it.
Exactly. And it's not about that feeling of being overwhelmed
Right.
or chaotic
Yeah.
when you're trying to speak too fast.
Like you're just trying to get the words out as quickly as possible.
Right. And that can often lead to mistakes that you don't even notice.
Yeah, because you're not paying attention to the details.
Exactly. So the takeaway here is
Okay.
to prioritize clarity over speed.
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down. It might seem counterintuitive,
Uh-huh.
but actually putting those little pauses into your speech
Right.
can make you sound more fluent.
Oh, interesting, because you're more in control.
Exactly. And it gives you time to breathe,
Mm-hmm.
which helps you stay calm.
Yeah. And think clearly.
And it gives you a moment to think about your word choice, your grammar,
Your pronunciation.
your pronunciation.
All the important stuff.
Yeah, and most importantly, it gives the listener time to process what you're saying.
Oh, that's a really good point.
So your communication is much more effective.
So it's not just about you, it's about the other person as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Annemarie encourages people to watch skilled public speakers,
Oh, okay. Like who?
like podcasters or people who give TED Talks.
Yeah.
And just notice how they use pauses.
To create emphasis.
Yeah, to emphasize points and to create clarity.
Cool.
And if you're interested in learning more about this, she has a lesson called Speak, so others listen.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, and she also has a program called My Fluency School,
Okay.
where you can really go deep into this stuff.
I might have to check that out.
All right, should we move on to myth number 3?
Yeah, hit me.
So this one is confident speakers never need to seek clarification.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about that one?
Well, I think that myth probably comes from a fear of looking dumb.
Right? Or inadequate.
Yeah, like you don't want to seem unintelligent, so you're afraid to ask for clarification.
Because you think it'll make you look bad.
Right.
But Annemarie totally flips that idea on its head.
Okay, how so?
She says that confident speakers actually do ask for clarification.
Oh, interesting.
And it shows that you're really engaged in the conversation and you genuinely want to understand what the other person is saying.
So it's actually a sign of confidence.
Yeah.
Not a lack of confidence.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And it also shows that you're an active listener,
Right.
which is really important in English-speaking culture.
Yeah, people appreciate that.
They do.
So how can we get better at asking for clarification?
Well, one really practical step is just to practice using phrases
Okay.
that ask for clarification and start with conversations where you feel relaxed,
Right.
like with friends or family.
Yeah, low stakes situation.
Exactly that way. When you do need to ask for clarification in a more formal setting,
Yeah.
it'll feel more natural.
Like it just rolls off the tongue.
Right, exactly. And Annemarie gives some really great examples of phrases you can use.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So you could say something like, "Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Would you mind repeating what you said?"
Okay, that's a good one.
Or, "I'm not entirely sure I'm following you. Could you explain what you mean by blank, or perhaps give me an example of what you mean by that?"
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, and another one is, "Would you mind saying that again? I just want to make absolutely sure I've understood correctly."
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, so those are just a few examples. And you can use them in all sorts of situations,
Yeah.
like at work with your family, in discussions, even in debates.
Really, any time you need to make sure you understand something.
Exactly. And if you're looking for even more phrases like this,
Okay.
Annemarie has a whole lesson on this called 13 Ways to Clarify When You Don't Understand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
Awesome.
Okay, are you ready for myth number 4?
Yeah. Lay it on me. What's the next myth?
So this one is that confident speakers don't have setbacks or make mistakes.
Ooh. I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Yeah, I think we've all been there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like the idea that someone can just glide through conversations without ever stumbling over a word or, forgetting a word.
Right. Or loses their train of thought.
Yeah, it's just not realistic.
No, it's definitely not.
And Annemarie is very open about this.
Okay. How so?
She admits that she still makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Like she fumbles her words sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
She makes grammatical errors.
Everyone does.
And she even loses her train of thought sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been there.
Right. And she says her team and her students can all vouch for this.
So it's not just her then?
No, it's everyone.
Okay.
And it's just a natural part of human communication.
Yeah. Our brains don't always work perfectly,
They don't.
especially when we're trying to speak in another language.
Right. And while practicing definitely helps you to reduce those moments.
Yeah.
And it can help you recover more smoothly.
Right.
They're still going to happen.
So it's not about being perfect.
No, it's not.
It's about being able to handle those moments.
Exactly. And Annemarie tells this really relatable story about forgetting the word journal.
Oh, wow. Like a really basic word.
I know, right?
Okay.
But it just goes to show that even with loads of experience, those mental blanks can happen.
Yeah, your brain can just go blank sometimes.
Yeah. And what's important is how you handle it.
So what does she do?
Well, she took a deep breath,
Okay.
gave herself a moment to kind of regroup,
Right.
and she tried to explain what she meant in a different way.
Oh, that's a good strategy.
Yeah. And eventually the word came back to her.
Okay.
So it's really a skill,
Yeah.
being able to overcome those little setbacks.
It's like a muscle you have to train.
It is.
Yeah.
So confidence isn't about never making mistakes. It's
Right.
about knowing that you can handle them.
Yeah, and move on.
Exactly. So when those inevitable mistakes do happen,
Okay.
what's the best way to approach them?
What does Annemarie suggest?
Well, she says, just pause for a second.
Okay.
Take a deep breath. Uh-huh.
Calm yourself down
Right.
and give your brain a chance to catch up.
Yeah, let it reboot.
Exactly. And then you can either correct the mistake,
Mm-hmm.
or if it doesn't really affect the meaning,
Yeah,
you can just keep going.
just roll with it.
Right. And she also recommends having a few little sentence starters ready.
Okay, like what?
So you could say something like, oh, what I actually meant to say was blank.
Okay.
Or, oh, I'm sorry, I wanted to say blank.
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
Uh-huh.
And in more informal situations,
Yeah,
you could just apologize quickly.
Right.
Or even make a joke about it.
yeah, just keep it light.
Right. And it's
Mhm.
also really important to practice in a supportive environment.
Yeah, a place where you feel safe,
Exactly. Where it's okay to make mistakes.
like a judgment-free zone.
Right. And that could be with a language partner
Uh-huh.
or a supportive friend
Of kind coworker.
or a speaking community.
Yeah, lots of options.
And Annemarie also has some training resources.
That can help you feel more prepared
Right.
and better equipped to handle those linguistic stumbles.
Good to know.
So are you ready for the final myth?
Yeah, bring it on.
This one is you either have confidence or you don't.
Oh, the all or nothing myth.
And this perspective can be so demotivating
It really can.
because it makes you feel like if you're not confident right now,
Yeah.
then you'll never be
And
confident.
you're just doomed.
Yeah, like it's just not in your DNA.
Right.
But Annemarie is very clear that this is just not true.
Good.
She says that anyone can build confidence in their English speaking abilities.
That's encouraging.
It is. And it's important to remember that every confident speaker
Yeah.
started somewhere.
They were all beginners once.
Exactly. They had to learn the basics. They
Oops,
had
sorry.
to practice consistently.
Yeah.
And they had to learn from their mistakes.
And keep going.
Exactly. And even those speakers who seem super confident,
Yeah.
they still practice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they don't just rest on their laurels.
Yeah. They're always working on it.
Exactly. They're always improving.
That's inspiring.
It is. And when you listen to really good speakers,
Right.
you're usually just seeing the finished product.
Yeah, the highlight reel.
Exactly. You don't see all the hard work and preparation that went into it.
Right. All the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, so confidence isn't something you're born with.
Uh-huh.
It's something you develop over time.
Through practice and experience.
Exactly. And Annemarie has this great framework for understanding how this happens.
Okay, tell me about it.
She calls it the confidence-building learning cycle.
The confidence building learning cycle.
Okay, yeah. So it starts with learning new things.
Okay.
Then you take action by speaking,
Uh-huh.
and you start to see improvement.
Right.
And that leads to more positive self-beliefs,
Okay.
which in turn builds your confidence,
Yeah.
and that motivates you to keep learning.
So it's like a positive feedback loop.
It is.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the key element is taking action.
Right. You have to actually do it.
You do. Confidence doesn't just magically appear.
Yeah. You have to put in the work.
You do, but it's so worth it.
It is.
And to help you get started,
Okay.
Annemarie has 8 concrete recommendations for getting more speaking practice.
8. Okay. I'm ready.
So number 1 is to download her training resources,
Okay.
which includes a 4-week speaking practice program.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So that's number 1.
Number 2 is to join an English-speaking community,
Okay.
either online or in person.
Yeah. Good idea.
And number 3 is to join a club or a volunteer organization
Uh-huh.
where you can use your English.
Okay.
So that could be a book club,
Right.
an art gallery,
Anything that interests you.
exactly anything that interests you.
Cool.
Recommendation number 4 is to find a language coach or a teacher
Yeah.
for speaking classes.
One-on-one help.
Yeah. And number 5 is to arrange regular speaking practice
Okay.
with a coworker or a neighbor.
Yeah.
And you could even do a language exchange.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. You help them with your native language and they help you with English.
Makes sense.
And Annemarie actually did this when she lived in France.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what's number 6?
Number 6 is to listen to English language podcasts or TED Talks
Okay.
and take notes on any new vocabulary
Mm-hmm.
and then practice summarizing what you heard out loud.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, and try to use those new words.
Yeah, put them into practice.
Right. And number 7 might sound a little strange, but
No.
it's actually really helpful.
What is it?
Talk to yourself out loud in English.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's a great way to practice with zero pressure.
No one to judge you.
Exactly. And finally, number 8
Okay.
is to think about joining a speaking-focused organization.
Like Toastmasters.
Yeah, like
Uh,
Toastmasters.
Yeah, they're all about public speaking.
Exactly.
Cool.
So the main message here
Sure.
is just to start small,
Right.
Don't try to do everything at once.
One step at a time.
Yeah. Gradually expand your comfort zone and surround yourself with supportive people.
Yeah, people who believe in you.
Exactly, because when you take these actions,
Right.
you'll see improvements in your abilities, and that'll motivate you to keep going.
Yeah, and the more you practice, the more confident you'll feel.
Right. It all works together.
It's like a snowball effect.
It is.
So Annemarie has given us a lot to think about.
She has.
And a clear path forward.
Yeah, so as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
here's a question for you to consider.
Yeah, right.
What's one specific action step that you're committed to taking this week to boost your English-speaking confidence?
This week.
Yeah, like look back over all the strategies we've talked about and choose one that you can realistically do in the next 7 days.
Good idea.
And remember, progress is definitely within your reach.
It is.
It all starts with understanding these realities about confidence and fluency and then taking action.
Just do it.
Exactly.
I love that.
So thanks so much for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And we'll catch you next time.
See you later.